this is an RA work, and we are like allocated to work 10 hours on RA for the whole week. So literally, Monday to Friday, you only have 2 hours every day to work on that project. And that is not only in the RA, data management work is not only in the RA that you are doing, so your PI gives you other RA assignments. So if you are working on other RA assignments and they are not directly related to data management issues or practices, then it means that you definitely will not be applying data management. So you end up spending your 2 hours, and sometimes you work more than even 2 hours in a day when you were supposed to work for 2 hours on the RA, and then you need to also have time for your data management, and then that becomes an issue.
But it can be hard to make the time for it. I think having the research assistant be kind of like take on data management as a key role of their practice helps it be on the same page. And I think it's important to not just see it as a box checking measure, but as a tool for getting on the same page about your research data and making a plan for where it will be in the long run.
When you think about it as part of the research process, then you don't necessarily worry about how to claim it, because it is part of the research process. And I think that's where we all need to start thinking about RDM from. It's not like an additional task. It is the research process. A good example is like having a research data management plan, right? That is part of your research process. It might seem like an additional task in the beginning, but it does help you throughout the process of conducting that research. So in terms of claiming time, I would just say, think about it as part of the research, and it's just any other research task that you'll be doing. So just claim it that way.
Knowing that this is like a critical part of your work, and knowing you have to spend like 10 minutes every day and you have to figure out these processes, and always make sure that you're like going back to your data management plan. And I think it's going to help in the future when you're even planning or grant writing.
Just allocating the last like 10 to 15 minutes towards the end of your day to really just make sure that you're following up on the particular practices.
Knowing how long it's going to take you and knowing the process, you can then like sort of set yourself up mentally to think this is going to take 20% of my time, 10% of my time, and then that's gonna go down over time once you like get in the groove and you're a champion.
Having your README open and just, have it open while you're working, and if there's any slight changes that you're doing, just make a note of it. I think sometimes I can make a quick decision when doing things. For instance, we adopted a new filtering system, and I realized that I wrote it out to Sarah in an email, and I said, so I have to go back and I have to put this into the README. And to be honest, it wasn't at the top of my list. So just making sure that that practice is, bumped up in terms of hierarchy on your practices.
In the end, hopefully these things help save time too. So if you've documented things really well, it does save you time in the write-up phase. If you have a really good data management plan, it saves you time in undoing errors that might have occurred because not everyone is on the same page. And if you share data, it saves a little bit of time in the future. If you're looking to reuse your data set, it's already there and cared for by the repository.
Because Brighter Spark is an applied research team and we are operating under a budget and a clock, we never have enough time from clients for the projects that we want to do. And so we are incredibly focused on trying to make processes as efficient as possible. At the start of Brighter Spark, that meant just getting through it as fast as possible. And I think the shift has been that we have put in time when we're less busy on individual projects, building an infrastructure so that we have all of these standard operating procedures and all of these ways of working that just happen consistently across projects. So the actual projects are both efficient and replicable.
I think as a
PI and supervisor, moving forward, I would write this into students' contracts when they begin working under, for a project under my supervision, that there would be so much time allocated. So normally this is what I would do for data skill development, right? And so they'd have so many hours dedicated towards developing those skills when they come on a project, so they're learning, not just kind of facilitating the process. And I think I would also do that with research data management practices and have them, section out time to develop those skills so they don't see it as secondary to the main research project.
And just remind yourself, like, if you get used to doing it right now, in the future, it's not going to feel like an additional work. It's just going to be part of the process.
This series is brought to you by Spark, a Center for Social Research Innovation.